All right. When we last left our heroes, they had just arrived at AraMythos' capital, the city of Argent. Tlawin and Skara coming from their provincial lives, looking for something more, and Bly coming from the far border with the Rottenland, intending this journey to be but a brief respite. The three were thrown into a predicament. Disguised or not, Tarsus wants a transmuter's stone from Pars Mena, one that can detect poison. You're all therefore headed back to Pars's house on Question Mark Street. Um,
I forgot about that one.
The chase through the streets has blown back the hood Tarsus was wearing, and you get a closer look at her. Slightly pointed ears betray elfin blood somewhere in her line, and straight black hair frames a sallow face.
You're an elf. What was that? Our jumping off point?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. You're an elf.
Oh,
I said
right.
in my brain, but managed to also say out loud.
Elves are cool. I also managed to say out loud.
She's still, like, walking along, not looking very happy with you guys.
Oh, okay.
What was the last thing we said to her before this?
I think we convinced her that we're like, yeah, he'll probably let you borrow it. Like, you don't have to resort to stealing.
Well, I think Tlawin was singing to her,
That sounds like me.
and,
I'm approaching this with like buttloads of naivete.
Me too.
And I'm like, well, we can all be friends. I say, hopefully convincingly.
Wait, aren't we already all friends? I say.
And I'm like, yeah, but what with the addition of our new friend?
a nice sentiment, but that doesn't always work out in real life.
Can we have a group hug, I suggest?
No.
And I'm, no. I don't want one either.
Group hugs are for losers.
We all deny your request for a group hug.
Hug, 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 hug. No hug.
The lament for the hug that never was.
Oh.
All right, so you're approaching Pars's house again. I mean, it's a bit longer getting back there since you aren't like frantically running after someone, but it
Yeah.
still wasn't that far away.
Okay.
Right, so didn't I agree to like message him through the door or something?
Oh, wait, Laura, since I've been piggybacking you, my whole idea was that, like, that would give her time to rest if she wanted to use one of her hit dice to heal.
Oh.
Or, since I'm touching you, I can also heal you. Up to 5 hit points.
Yeah, so if you look on your character sheet, there should be something that says hit dice. It says something like 1d. I don't remember what it is. So you can roll that and see how many hit dice you regain, or how many health you regain.
She's like, 1!
And then when you go to sleep, after you take a long rest, you regain those hit dice back.
I rolled a 5.
Ah, that's exactly how much I could have healed.
That's pretty good. That means that you're just down 1, I think.
Yay.
Yay.
So wasn't the plan like I messaged the guy on the other side of the door once we get back? Using
I
my
think
message
it was something
spell?
like that. And we like agreed also on like a knock.
Okay.
To doubly secure his brain that we should be torn apart by magical swords.
Yeah, that was bad.
Okay.
Since you seem so unsure, I wonder if I should make you roll an intelligence check to see if you remember the knock.
Do we all need to roll it?
Well, I think only one person is going to be doing the knock, so...
Okay.
Should probably be. Wait, should it be since I'm I have the most wisdom out of all three of us?
Yeah, don't count on me remembering because I just rolled a 5.
Oh,
I'm just like, I know there was one, but
If you all roll terribly and
Uh-oh.
Parse doesn't let you in, I have no clue where to go from there.
oh.
I have a message.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I guess you can impart a new knock through the message if we all can't remember our previous knock.
Laura, did you roll?
Oh no! I rolled a 5.
Um,
Got the last two.
That's
Just
what you roll at.
I
That's really rubbing off on me.
I rolled a 15.
That's way better than us.
Are you
Yeah.
sure? Because you sounded like very nervous before.
That was before I rolled.
Okay. Okay, you remember the knock.
Yay.
So I guess because of my musical training, I know how to knock. So I send the message to the door saying, "Hey, we're back. Did you miss us?" And I go like,
Okay, so you hear a whole bunch of bolts being thrown and locks being unlocked. Tarsus is just kind of standing to the side, arms folded, looking fairly surly. And Parse opens the door and peers out, and then kind of waves you to come in.
Okay, so he has unbolted all the bolts and has waved us over, and we're like, yeah.
Then I assume that you kind of trickle into his house, but he kind of holds up a hand when Tarsus is coming in and say, "Who's this?"
"This is our new friend."
And I'm like, this is the chick who asked us to break into your house.
He starts to shut the door and Tarsus stops him.
And I just kind of shove my foot in the door, and I'm like, no, she's fine.
We thought this would be easier if you just have a little discussion about exactly what your goals are.
Yeah, why don't we just have a nice little discussion? Solve all of our problems. And then I can go be by myself again.
Who does she work for?
I just kind of turn to her. I'm like, I don't know.
Who do you... I'll get on my interrogator face. Who do you work for?
I don't think your interrogator face is very intimidating then.
I'll put on my cute persuasion face. Who do you work for?
Pull our weapons on her.
What? No.
It's you just managed to convince her to come with you, then you suddenly pull your weapons on her. No.
You're rude now to what we say.
I have an awesome... I was about to say I majored in persuasion.
Yes, you went to adventuring college and majored in persuasion.
I'm...
And so I'm gonna be like, listen, we can trust her at least for now. I think she has a legitimate reason for why she asked us to do what she asked us to do, I say persuasively, hopefully.
Did you
um,
roll for
I
that?
could. Sure. I rolled. With my bonus, I got an 18.
Okay, so, Parse is kind of like, okay, and lets Tarsus come in.
Yeah, and I am going to talk to Tarsus about. I do think in order to be able to work to get ourselves to a more meaningful conclusion that's useful for all parties involved, we all probably should know a little bit more about you and what your goals are here.
And that's why I'm going
So-
to sing the friendship song. FRIENDSHIP.
Friendship, 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 friendship. You will now be
That will
friends with
never
me.
sink.
Let's be friends, so friendship, friendship. I am friends and you are too. I roll persuasion. So it's
What?
I'm rolling. So it's +3 for the proficiency, right?
I don't know what your stats are.
And
If you're just
proficiency is a +3, right?
proficiency is a +2.
Oh, +2. Oh, good thing I checked. Or I'd have been cheating. In that case, I got a 17.
Okay, she looks unconvinced.
Wow, that must have been a difficult check.
Yeah.
I say out loud, no.
You turn to the audience and go, that was hard.
Somehow, Parse actually seems to be like tapping his foot along to the song. I
like,
don't know how that works actually, but
Maybe I accidentally rolled against performance instead of persuasion.
well, I mean, you were singing a song,
Yeah.
so
Although my
Right.
performance bonus is the same as my persuasion bonus anyway.
What about you, Laura? Do you just not care? You're just like, whatever, resolve this.
Can I roll for intimidation and tell her that if she doesn't comply, we'll probably kill her?
Whoa!
I mean, you can do that.
Sure. I don't know about your plan yet, so wait, I need to hold in my reaction.
Yeah, I guess we'll react after you actually do that.
Okay. I'll roll for intimidation. I got 13.
Whoa!
And
Wait, what?
so like, what exactly do you say to her?
That if she doesn't comply, we'll probably harm her. Not kill her, that's like a little bit too far.
She still looks unimpressed, and she's just kind of like, well, I had already agreed to come talk, but if you're going to be like that, then I might as well just leave.
Oh no.
Wait, can't we just talk about your goals and, secrets?
Here, why don't I make some tea, I say, and we can all calm down.
Ooh, is it going to be potato tea?
Sure, I have
I
brewers.
love potato
can
tea.
do it. I don't know why potato tea, but right, because I potatoes.
You forgot
like
your whole
potato
shtick for your character. What?
Maybe it could be like potato leaf tea, like made from the potato leaves.
Are potato
And
leaves
flour.
edible?
That sounds gross.
I don't know. Let me Google that real quick.
Like, is that poisonous?
Because I'm not going to do that.
Offer the tea and only she will drink it. The rest of us spit it out.
Okay, apparently it's a hallucinogen.
They're in the same family with nightshade.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna make potato.
It can cause people to hallucinate, turn hypothermic.
I mean, that's why people were really suspicious of tomatoes at first, because they're part of the same family as nightshade. It's like, no.
Feel nausea and to develop neurological problems.
Okay, I'm gonna
Amazing.
go off on a limb, say that my years of potato farming and being told not to eat the leaves from my parents has prepared me for this moment, and make regular potato tea.
I would
Forever.
say, like, how much of that actually stuck with you? But yeah.
I feel like I was a very stupid child, so pretty well after the first lesson went poorly.
I'm just
But
imagining.
now we have a.
Sorry. I'm just imagining, like, mini Skara out in the potato field just snacking on potato leaves.
Right, this is fine, right?
Creepy.
Apparently sweet potato leaves are edible, though.
I was gonna say,
According to Google.
at least now we have a plan in case we need to poison someone.
Great. Now
And-
we know.
And Parse has a transmuter's stone that will detect it.
Yay! Oh, how hilarious would that have been if I had made the poisonous tea? And was like, here you go. Okay, well, sad.
That totally establishes our helpful intent.
Our legitimacy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm all for adding a tragic childhood incident where I ate too many leaves, and perhaps only because I'm a dwarf, they didn't like outright kill me.
Oh,
Oh,
right.
right, you-
Don't they have immunity to?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So maybe you
have.
like actually normally. Maybe you like normally drink potato leaf tea and it's like safe and it's just.
I don't know. What do we want to decide? Can I drink potato leaf tea and be okay?
Do you have resistance or immunity?
I have resistance.
Although
So I imagine in large quantities not.
Right. But I assume it's not particularly potent.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like if I was a child and had this incident, it would also be worse since I was like, less body weight and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I'd probably just like, maybe it's like that thing where like all the adults drink it and they're like, you won't be a real adult until you drink potato leaf tea. And I'm like, I'm okay, thanks.
All right. I approve of this world building. Why write 60 pages of world building when I can get my friends to do it for me?
Okay, I will make regular potato tea, I say, just pulling out my brewer's tools from like my beer. And we could all sit down and have a nice chat. Do people like this idea? Because I'm already halfway through bombarding your kitchen. I say,
Parse is like, wait. Let me just go deactivate something real quick.
Oh, okay.
Wait, I want to see. If I want to go in and see this, do I need to roll anything, or do I just like dash in front of him, or what?
I don't know.
I guess you can just follow along.
Okay, I'm going in because I want to see what he's deactivating.
Oh, is it the poor, like maybe more shrubs that he's been growing in his windowsill?
Actually, a small rosemary bush.
Aw. And I'm like, ooh, rosemary.
And he just like tells it sternly, "These are friends. Do not attack them."
And it's just like,
Yeah.
Oh.
And I'm like, rosemary, that would go great with my potato tea.
And it's like, again.
No, he says, you can take a little bit from it. I mean, that's why it's here. an herb that I keep in my kitchen. It's just also a small guardian.
And I'm just like, ooh. I'm like intrigued by this, like as a young child with a new toy.
Just try not to trim it with your axe like my other bushes.
Oh.
Thanks.
Okay, I see. I just kind of like gently poke it with a finger.
It kind of
Can
like
I-
curls up a little bit.
Can I like study it magically? I say excitedly.
No.
Parsh shrugs and is just kind of like, it's just a standard transmutation spell.
Cool.
You can learn that like anywhere. You must be really dumb to not know that.
Excuse me, I have a 16 intelligence, I say.
Okay, well, I just kind of like I'm like, do I ask the rosemary bush for some rosemary? I'm like, can I have some of your rosemary leaves? I say.
It like holds out a branch tentatively to you and kind of like the bulk of it almost turns away like it's not looking.
As gently as I can and quickly as I can, go like pluck.
You got some rosemary.
Da 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 da.
So I will not roll in order to study the bush because I'm just doing it out of geekdom.
Okay, I start making the tea while I don't know what you guys do.
I geek out.
Laura, what are you doing?
Can I make the bush explode just like all the other plants?
No! I love the bush!
The bush is my new best friend.
That makes me want to harm it more.
Why, Laura? Why?
I'm just wondering now if like all this time you've kept your torch just at your side, just like holding on to it.
The whole time I'm just like, it's still burning.
Just whip it out. Burn the next plant.
I-
Can I be talking to the dude?
Parse?
Yes.
We can be like, yo, this lady needs your help. Is what I would say. I don't know what you're saying, Laura.
I'll ask him why he has such crazy plants. They're just like really unique plants.
Well, they keep the neighborhood children away. They're not,
Oh.
and I don't know. They're like friends.
Probably just like this guy who's like, all I wanted was to like retire to this nice place. Like,
Oh.
these damn kids, and they break my window with their stones, and they like pour lantern oil all in my bushes and light them on fire.
Yeah, I mean that's basically the vibe that you're getting from him.
Aw.
It makes me feel bad, so I apologize for exploding some of his plants.
Well, that's okay. They did attack you. You were trying to break in.
We tried knocking. And I'm like, the potato tea is almost ready. I yell.
I attempt to hug the rosemary bush.
The rosemary bush hugs you back, but it's very small, so it just kind of like wraps a little bit around your arm.
Oh, yay! Someone will actually hug me.
Your hug song worked on someone.
Wait, I didn't try singing it to it first.
Well, because you didn't need to sing it, Ben.
Yeah, you need a
Oh.
You already wanted.
It can see into your heart,
Oh.
where you were already singing it.
No. That's too much for me.
Anyways, so I've already like repurposed all of his like silverware and dishware and stuff, and just like,
And
but
you,
like not very tastefully. I've
Yeah.
just been like, this cup's great.
you can like see on his face this look of, I'm going to have to wash all of this later.
It's like that scene in Lord of the Rings where like all the dwarves come over and and he's just like, why? That's me right now. And I'm just like I give like a little dainty little like teacup to like Laura, but like a huge like ass like thing for like ale,
Like a tankard.
a tankard to that one lady, and I give Ben I'm pretty sure it's not even a cup, it's like a small vase that I filled it with potato tea anyway.
Like, first you actually dump out the flowers that are in it and then fill it with the tea.
Just to check, are these flowers also animated?
They writhe a little sadly.
This is pretty good tea, but why does it taste dirtier than I expected?
And I'm like, that's the good taste of Earth. I give with like a really fake smile. It's like a slogan that's been driven into my brain 1,000 times. I cock my head by only like 2%. It's like a nervous twitch, and you guys are like, "Wait, what?" And then like suddenly I'm back to normal. And then like finally I give like a coffee mug to like to the guy, and then like I'm just like drinking whatever's left straight from the kettle.
You can see that Hars kind of surreptitiously takes out his stone and dips it in before drinking. And Tarsus just completely does not drink. She just kind of sets it down on a counter.
Oh, that's rude.
Yeah, I gave her the biggest one, I think. How big is the vase? I imagined a pretty small vase.
Yeah, fairly
I got-
slim one.
I offer the rosemary plant a sip.
It kind of waves its branches around in confusion. There's also some
Yeah.
rosemary in it.
Yeah, that's true. I did put the rosemary in it.
Oh, right.
It's just like, what are you doing? I thought I could trust you. And then I'm like, listen, so this person here was all like, break in because I need to use the magical stone, and we were wondering if you could let us borrow your stone. Does this sound like a thing that is accurate and you can do? I say to the room.
Well, why was she trying to break in, though? Are you working for someone? And Tarsus is just kind of like, I work for myself. That's why I don't work with anyone. That's why.
I cocked my head and then like, wait, why couldn't you have just knocked on the door and been like, mind if I borrow your poison detecting stone, please?
Is she
Yeah.
like under a spell or something? Can we like check for that?
Oh, I'll check. I could check Arcana for that. Did you say that out loud? Because if you didn't, then I wouldn't know about the idea, though.
You probably would think of it. Maybe I whisper it to you secretly.
Okay.
I'm just like.
I'm like, ooh, Ooh, that sounds smart.
And
So
I'm
I'll-
just like standing there, like drinking my potato tea, being
So I-
like,
So I roll Arcana then, and I rolled an 8.
wow. Just
Nice.
I assume I didn't figure out anything then.
I don't
Right.
think so. No.
I give you
fun
a
fact, I just rolled an 8.
I give you a really big and really obvious shrug.
You're just like, ah.
I think that magic is a thing.
I know magic.
I
mean,
could tell you about some spells.
I think I agreed with his question though, where I'm like, yeah, why did you have to break in? I didn't feel very good about that. I don't appreciate you tricking us like that. It makes me feel like I did something wrong.
And now those plants are dead, and that's not happy. I don't like dead plants.
Laura's like, I love dead plants.
I want more to kill.
Especially when they're potatoes.
What? Well, wait, no, I like roasted potatoes.
Maybe after this is all done, we should have a funeral for the dead plants, and I can, sing a lament, and
Are you suggesting this out loud?
apparently.
Okay, then Parse is kind of like, I'd like that. I'd appreciate that.
Aww.
Oh.
Like,
I'm not like
those
so-
plants are my only friends. I don't communicate much. It's just like one of those sad old people who like bring up random topics. They're like those old people who go to the library because they don't have like actual people to talk with. And they're like, oh, I'll go to the library because I can ask the reference does something, and then I'll feel like I had human connection.
Oh,
Yeah, they're really sad. And then you're like, okay, I'll have this conversation with you. Are people enjoying my potato tea? I ask.
Parse, he nods. He probably doesn't make that great of food for himself anyway. So he seems to be enjoying it.
Yay. You know, Ben, you tried it and you're like, it tastes kind of earthy.
Yep.
I feel like my character really likes it, but doesn't want to admit that she likes it.
Okay.
She just kind of shrugs, but in reality, she wants more.
I
She's
mean,
like,
there's
"No."
still that tankard that Tarsus put down on the counter from before.
I'm eyeing it.
You could use sleight of hand to surreptitiously pour tea from that tankard with no one
To just
noticing.
take the tankard without no one noticing.
And
Can I
see
roll for
how
that
I'm
right now?
what?
Can I roll for that?
Sure, although
Wipe the taker.
how I'm picturing the scene right now is like you'd have to cross in front of everyone else to get to the counter and get it.
I just imagine you going out like tiptoe or something and then, like doing that like slow reach towards it.
Oh my god. I rolled in that 20.
Oh my god.
You like, I don't know, you have some kind of pebble in your pocket and you flick it towards the window and it makes a noise and everyone looks over there and you quickly like go and grab the tanker.
Sweet. Nobody
We're
noticed.
like,
Nobody
"Oh,
noticed that
weird."
now I have the taker in my hand.
Yeah, and I'm examining the pebble trying to figure out if it was magical.
Yeah. I feel like no one noticed, Laura. We're just like, well,
Yeah.
especially since you rolled a nat 20. Maybe you're like
Yeah.
cradling it in like your armpit or something. So no one can...
Yeah.
So I've kind of lost where the conversation has gone.
Yeah, me I think,
Oh, right. We were
like-
asking
like,
why she
did
couldn't.
you make us go through all these lengths? Why not just like talk to him and maybe you guys
Yeah.
could have like worked out something, or like, like maybe a regular person would do.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what we were just asking.
I've heard of Parse before, and heard that he's very nervous and kind of paranoid. Parse kind of glares at her over his cup. Um, and, I've heard that, he animates inanimate objects that attack people who try to come to his house, and he never answers his door. So I didn't really see
Oh,
another way around it. I wanted to get that stone, and it's kind of urgent. And, um, you know, that body is not going to stay around there forever. I need to check it soon.
that is true. He didn't answer the door.
And we knocked too. We're like, okay, what? And so I turned to him and I'm like, well, her motivation seems pure. Might we borrow your stone if we were to promise to bring it back to you?
The body? Check what body?
'Cause like she wanted the stone because someone had been murdered.
Yeah. I think we
Oh, right.
Okay. I was
I
like, whoa.
remember that. I'm like, I remember.
Man,
Right.
it's like it's been a few weeks when it's only been an hour.
Keep getting in stage by you guys.
Should I persuade him to do so? I can persuade him.
Sure.
Okay. So apparently my big spiel was not that great because I got an 8.
Oh, should I try to persuade him?
Sure. I'm just
Be like,
like,
hey, so if you're not down with that idea, what if you accompany us to the body? Then you can keep an eye on the stone and the group, and we can do the thing we want to do, and we'll all be happy, and nobody will have to be upset about anything ever again.
Great. More people.
Yeah. Tarsus doesn't look completely pleased either.
Well, I rolled a, let's see, 17 on that.
17. And Parsus saying, well, I mean, I might have to come along, 'cause I don't know how much use the stone would be without me anyway. Since, it just changes color and you wouldn't know how to identify that. But I don't know
like,
about...
is red bad?
Well, it changes color depending on what type of poison it is. It actually shows you what kind of poison has been used, so it has a various range. But this is the first I've heard of a body. Like, what are we using this for? What are we checking out?
And I'm like, yeah, what are we checking out, lady?
Sounds good.
Tarsus sighs. It's just kind of like, you'd really have to come along. There's no, like, guide you could give us to figure out what the poison was. Well, I mean, not really, because, there's only so many shades that you can describe with words, and, I'd be the one who knows what each of the shades means. It doesn't really translate that well to written words. So Tarsus kind of like taps her fingers and just kind of like, well, I guess I have to get other people involved if there's really no other way to tell what poison it was, because that was kind of the point.
So she's like agreeing with what he said. I just want to clarify.
Yeah, agreeing that Parse would have to go along as well.
Okay, cool. So, and I'm like, how urgent is checking out this body? I ask, like, do we need to, like, leave as soon as we drink our potato tea?
It's fairly urgent, I would say. I don't know exactly when they're planning to burn the body, but we have to get there before then.
Where's the body?
On the moon.
Yes, you're all going to the moon. House Nazra Ikai is holding it in one of their preservation rooms, so for now it's intact. It's should still be, all nice and neat, but we have to get there. Usually those preservation rooms are open to people who want to say their goodbyes to the deceased, but in this case it's locked. So that might be a sign that something's wrong here.
Yeah, I'm curious. So I ask, like, can multiple bodies be held there at once? Like in different rooms? Or in the same room? Just kind of more detail about what this location is.
Yeah, you're right, you're new to the city. They have, this kind of, this large courtyard with independent preservation rooms, and they have multiples of them, that different families, if they can house their deceased there for a short time to let the family say their goodbyes. And usually it's open to everyone, so we could get in no problem. And yeah, like, out of character, I'm just going to say it's, and Bly would probably know the place because she's been in the city before. It really is, it's kind of like a cross between a funeral home and a cemetery. Some of those cemeteries have those big mausoleum houses, and like the preservation rooms almost look like that, kind of scattered around this large courtyard area.
So I have a question too. Like, my best friend who died, would I be familiar with this building and like this area because of my friend? So would that make me like really sad and like anxious about going?
Actually,
or perhaps more knowledgeable of the area.
Actually, I don't think so, because since your friend went to the Rotten Land and was kind of lost there, I don't think a body was ever recovered. And also, you would know, however, that it's fairly expensive to have like a preservation room. Usually families can't afford, to house their deceased there for very long.
Mm-hmm. Hence why there's kind of a time limit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
It
I'm
could
like-
still, like, being there could still make you think about your friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to
Yeah.
think
Brain-
about your friend, you're always free to think about your friend.
You could never think about your friend. Just
Roll 1d20 to think about your friend.
I rolled a 6. I was like, is Bly thinking about someone?
Now, if you'd rolled a nat 20, I wonder if you'd be thinking about Bly's friend.
It's like, whoa. Like a sudden name just like pops into my brain and I'm like,
Tobin? Who's Tobin?
and you like almost choke on your like tankard of potato tea. You're like, what?
Yeah, I almost avoid the fact that I took a tankard.
So I'm like, but we can get into like the general space without any issues, correct?
Oh,
I
yeah.
asked.
There are attendants around, though, so we'd have to be a little bit sneaky about getting into the actual preservation room, if
So we
that's
have to
okay
break
with
in
you.
somewhere?
Sneaky, but then I'm like, murder.
It's really difficult being lawful in one of my campaigns.
I know.
Do I get to sing the sneaky song?
We're sneaking.
Sneaky song.
I think
wanna
we
hear
tried
that.
that last time too.
It didn't help with sneaking very much.
I
Because
think I
you
only
can't see us, you can't see us. We're so sneaky, sneaky, sneaky.
Like, are you saying this just right now?
Um, I wasn't thinking I was, but sure.
Tarsus is just like, please, please, please stop, stop, stop.
Whereas the other guy is like, man, this guy just keeps coming with the good tunes.
Yeah. Tars enjoys your music. He usually only hangs out with shrubs who aren't very good conversationalists.
It's like,
Hey.
yeah, is this what the kids listen to these days?
Well, it's what all the kids near where I live listen to nowadays, but that's mostly because they listen to me, whether they want to or not.
Oh my god, that's funny. Anyway, I ultimately probably decide that murder is worse than like making Bly unlock the lock, because I guess if I'm not watching, it's okay. I kind of decide this in my brain, and I'm just like, okay, well, you guys want to do it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Tarsus is just kind of like, great, I'll have a whole party following me while I'm trying to be sneaky.
We're like, well,
Easy.
we can pretend to be a very mismatched family going to read.
I mean, I'm used to not resembling my family members. None of us are the same species anyway.
So then, I guess,
Oh, I also offer, hey, if you can come up with a spell to make the plants make more sounds, I could totally teach your plants songs so they could entertain you.
And he's like, I would, but they don't have vocal cords.
I was just wondering if magic,
he considers it as, like, intriguing. I wonder if you could teach them to, like, not to sing exactly, but to just kind of, I don't know, do something in rhythm, like, if they could shake their leaves to create a song?
Ooh.
Oh, like Fantasia. That'd be kind of cool. I like how we're like, yeah, the plants.
Tarsus is, like, fed up. She just kind of, like, grabs the still slightly writhing flowers that had been thrown out of the vase before, and, like, stalks off, and, towards the front door again.
And we're like, okay, I guess it's time to go. So
I
you're
wave at the rosemary bush before we leave.
The rosemary bush waves back.
hey.
Why does this rosemary bush like me more than all you people do?
That's the
was
nicest
such
anyone ever was to Ben for the rest of the campaign.
Oh! His parents love him very much,
Oh, that's
and they're worried about him
They got
going
that.
off to the big city all alone. Well, except with Skara. And
I'm like, I'll protect him. And they're like, we could trust her.
little did they know he'd be dragged into, like, criminal activities the first day there.
Okay.
Which I will excitedly tell them in my first letter home.
And we're taking this guy with us, right?
Yeah.
Because we have to. Okay. I assume he's just kind of begrudgingly coming with us.
Yeah, he's just kind of, like, moping a little bit, and then once you all leave, he takes, like, an inordinately long time locking up. And
He's just like, click. Click. Slide.
So
Kurt
just
Chuck.
checking, am I the only
Click.
person...
Click. Slide. And then he's like, oh, whoops, did that one wrong. Unslide.
now I have to start all over again. It's been so long since I've been outside the house, I've almost forgotten the sequence.
Click. Sorry. Sorry. Okay, continue.
I just checking. Am I the only one in this group who's actually like happy about the current situation?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Because I'm like,
Wait,
my
is
morals are being tested, and like Laura's like, I kind of don't know why I'm still being dragged on, I assume.
And Tarsus is like, I don't want to work with all these people. And Pars is like, well, I don't really want to go outside my house.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, don't worry, I'll protect you. I mean, I've protected Ben all this whole time here.
Yeah, look how well I'm doing now.
Yeah, he's the one who took damage when you never did.
Yeah, see how well I acted. Not my fault. He was standing like right there in front of the plant, and I was like, all the plants attack me, and then that one plant was like, no. Okay, so is Tarsus like angrily huffing towards like I already forgot the name of the place.
Yeah, she's going towards the House Nazra Kai kind of runs it, or rather the Church of Nazra. Um, so religious stuff.
Okay, so do we pass anything interesting on the way, or do we just sort of skip to arriving?
I assume we pass like exclamation point street and like comma avenue and semicolon court.
Yeah, I mean, you passed some extremely interesting things, but we're not going to talk about them here.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, all their streets are based on quotations or punctuation, I should say.
Only in this area.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was when they were starting to run out of ideas for street names.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Everyone always gets M dash lane confused with N dash lane.
Yeah, their mail always gets mixed up. Okay, so you get there after, it's been quite a long walk. It's a fairly big city, and, you weren't right next to this place or anything. It's actually starting to become a fairly nice part of town, whereas before it was just kind of middling to low.
Yay.
Like, you start to see more temples and churches and things. Seems like more of a religious area.
Ooh, would I be like the knowledge on it?
Yeah, I mean, you probably know more about religion than the other people in your party.
I've heard of religion.
How about I like say fun facts as we move in a tourist guide style?
Ooh, can I take notes?
And I'm
that
like,
probably super
yes. And I'm like, notes are encouraged.
I
Okay.
assume that you get quite a few of the facts wrong, though, since you've never actually been here and aren't completely
Right.
sure which of the temples are which and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm doing it all based on the signage. I'm like, oh, that sign kind of looks like that, like little squiggly guy. So, yeah, that's the god of that thing.
Of squiggles?
Yeah. And then I go into this like deep lecture of whatever.
And I write everything down that you say.
Everything.
While Taurus and I roll our eyes at each other and just try to ignore
Like you two would get along very well.
I feel like we're gonna low-key become best friends, but neither of us want to admit that we're best friends. We'll bond through our hatred of other people.
You can tell when you're coming up to, like, the preservation rooms of House Nazar Ikai. It's easy to tell because, it's this wide grassy field with, small white stone houses and different locations. It looks, like, very nice and very posh and almost a little bit like modeled after the temples. Like these are little small temples that people place dead people in to say goodbye to or something. There is kind of like a fence around the grounds, and there are a couple attendants just like by the entrance, but you can see there are a few people going in and out fairly readily. Tarsus kind of tries to straighten up and look solemn and like hold her flowers that she nicked from Parse in front of her, kind of like she's going to see a dead person.
Are the flowers still wriggling?
If you look very closely, just very slightly.
So I'll just get out my Arhu and play something appropriate to a funeral procession in order to help us seem more, more like we fit in the situation. Should I roll performance for that?
Yeah, Tarsus hisses at you to stop, for one thing, but you can roll performance if you want.
Okay, I just thought it would help us convincingly seem like what we're trying to pretend to be.
Tarsus is saying, like, we don't want to stand out, we just want to blend in, and no one else is playing music right now.
I thought that would help us blend in.
No.
Well, I rolled
Even I'm just like, no.
Oh, but I rolled a 20. Not a natural 20, but a 20.
It looks
You
like
managed to get one string out and like one pluck out, and it's like the most beautiful pluck ever that like everyone in the surrounding like weeps a single tear. But that's all you get out before it's like the instrument is like clapped to quietude by I already forgot her name. Tarsus.
Yeah.
She's just like, no.
the attendants kind of noticed those couple chords and kind of look towards you, but they seem fairly bland-faced, like, their job is to basically stand there and blend in and not disrupt anyone who's coming to mourn.
I'm going to conveniently walk like way behind, and like turn the other way, and like cover my ears and go like la 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 in my head. So that if anyone asks later, I can be like, without a doubt, be like, I did break this lock. I'm sorry.
So should I give an inspiration die? How difficult does this look?
Well, I'd say since they only last 10 minutes, you might want to wait until you actually get up to, the room that you're supposed to break into. I probably shouldn't give you advice like that. I'm the DM. I'm not part of this.
But since I don't really... since I'm learning...
So I'll say that Tarsus leads you over, like, kind of in a somewhat hidden spot behind the actual preservation room that you're trying to get in. And she tells you, okay, so I came here before and scoped this out. I know, the time that we should go, like, there are attendants wandering around, but I figured it out when we'd have enough time to get over there and try to pick the lock. She does, like, pull out a lock pick. She has lock picks.
And I'm just like...
None of you all have lock picks, so I don't know what you'd try to use to pick the lock, just like twigs or something. Just like shoving it against the lock, it won't fit.
Just be like, why won't it work? Sorry, continue.
Like she also like kind of notices that she's still holding the flowers and kind of discards them on the ground, and Parse kind of like looks at her a little affronted and picks them up and puts them in a buttonhole.
She just like angrily walked all the way here with the flower, unless she was like, "Oh, I can pretend I'm bringing them over to dead people."
Yeah, it was a disguise to like kind of get through the door, to
Okay.
try to look a little more presentable.
How
I don't-
we currently are.
I mean, I don't think I've told you like she's kind of in dark colored leathers and cloth and like has a hood, and I'm pretty sure you guys are all in armor. Well, yeah, anyway.
I definitely am. Every time I take a step, it's like clank, clank, clank.
My armor is leather armor, so it probably looks just like part of my outfit, though.
All right, you should probably all roll a stealth roll right now.
Clank, clank. I'm following at a distance though, so I don't know if I can still roll it, but I don't know if it'll matter as much for me because I'm against this whole lock picking idea, but I'm dealing with it. So I roll twice and I take the worst one, right?
Yeah.
Emily?
Mhm.
Okay. So I got a 5.
I rolled a 5, which gives me a 9.
What are we rolling for? Stealth?
Stealth.
Stealth.
Clank, clank.
I rolled a 21.
Wow.
Super stealth.
Okay.
Plowin suggests to Scar that she should stop literally saying clank clank while she walks.
So, Tarsus and somehow Parse also rolled pretty well. So, the people who did well are kind of covering for you a bit.
Okay.
They're kind of like, okay, no, step here, or
Like, don't step in that obvious, like, clanky area.
like catching you before you run into something. And like Tarsus puts her hand over the strings of Tlawin's Arhu again when he like starts to nervously start up again. I don't know.
I'm so stealthy. No, stop clanking. Here, I'll drown it out.
Wow.
So
No one can hear your clanking over my strumming.
Tla, 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 tla.
Bzz, 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 bzz. Bzz.
Yo, we're mixed nerds, and we're here to say
Bzz, bzz,
good day.
bzz, bzz.
Perfect.
Good day.
And then everyone's like, should say something that's not good day, just like totally random. So like,
Turnip sock.
Like, pineapples are good.
yeah,
Oh.
perfect. Excellent. We could just have Tig purring. As
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.